not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Well, hello there, friends. The Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. It's what I always tell you. Here we are in the middle of the 100 deadliest days on the calendar, right? Our roadways get more and more dangerous. Kids are out of school. There's more distractions in the car than there's ever been. Put all those distractions aside. And remember, if the worst happens, get the best at theadvocates.com. They are going to fight for you. Do not trust your insurance company. Do not trust the other insurance company, because neither one of them is trying to get you what you deserve. That's why you go to the advocates. They've not only fought this fight, they've won this fight with the insurance companies repeatedly. That's why they're so confident that they can win for you, that you never reach in your pocket to pay the advocates. You don't pay unless and until they win your case at theadvocates.com. What an incredible weekend of sports in this country. The New York Knicks are NBA champions. The Carolina Hurricanes won the cup last night. And what was crazy about the Carolina Hurricanes winning the cup is people actually shook hands from the opposing teams. And so, I thought that was interesting. And of course, I hesitate. We will get into UFC 250. We try to stay out of the boiling hot water of politics because you guys can't handle it, but we will definitely get into it because there was some tomfoolery, happening around the White House last night in a ridiculous spectacle that we'll talk about. But it is showdown day in the Big 12. That is absolutely, I think, front and center in this country. And the amazing part about everything that happened this weekend, still, all anybody is talking about, if you go look on Twitter, all anybody is talking about is this absolute, is conundrum the right word? Probably not, because these are all self-made problems in the Big 12. These are not problems of happenstance, or this is Texas Tech making a decision to try to put a thumb in the eye of the Big 12 in college football. To the point where now we have dueling attorney generals with Captain Impeachment in Texas and the attorney general in Oklahoma. And I don't know that I've ever seen anything. In fact, I do know. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like this. And if we continue to go down this road, and you look at Cody Campbell talking about, how he's excited, or excuse me, super excited to pay Brendan Sorsby, to pay that man his money. And not only excited, happy to pay him. It is amazing. And then what happens, we get the Oklahoma Attorney General sending a letter to Mr. Brett Yormark saying, we're ready to fight for you. Who are you, the advocates? Right? Like he's ready, because you have Captain Impeachment in Texas saying that he's going to fight for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Like, what are we even doing? That's the point where we are. That right now we have attorney generals fighting to fight the fight that is going to be fought and stuff starting today, when the executive committee of the Big 12, which essentially is all the Big 12 presidents, are going to have a meeting today to decide what action to take. against Texas Tech for this Brendan Sorsby situation. And I'm just going to tell you, this is very much the Pac-12 in the Mountain West. This is pretty much any stupid lawsuit in this country. Nobody ever wins. Nobody ever wins because you now have entire states taking sides for the Big 12 and Brendan Sorsby. And nobody believes this dude should be eligible. I mean, I think that's one of the things I've gotten out of this over the last week to 10 days that we've been talking about this. Nobody believes Brendan Sorsby should be playing college football. Nobody. It's not. I don't even, of all the conversations we've had on this show, there's not even the most passionate Texas Tech fan is coming in and be like, oh yeah, what's the problem? He's perfectly fine. He should play. It's the what about Joe Biden stuff, right? It's the let's go Brandon Sorsby stuff. It's the, well, they knew and he knew, and then, Penn State did their thing, so we never really landed on the moon, and the mob killed Marilyn Monroe, so why can't Brendan Sorsby play? It's the whataboutisms. That's when you know that this is just a sham. There isn't anybody outside of Jake who doesn't know how to white balance a camera, according to Marcus. There is Marcus, the technical guru of the show. Chick. Outside of Jake, I don't think there's, because you're the one that's defending Sorsby and saying that he's the aggrieved party. He's a victim, right, Jake?
Yeah, that's me, dude. That's 100% me, dude. That's 100%. That's my stance and my angle. That's always been my angle. That's just me. I don't know how to use cameras. I defend Brendan Sorsby. That's just Brandon Sorsby.
Thank you.
That's just me. That's just what I do. So
how do you think this ends for the Big 12 and Texas Tech today?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Big 12 isn't really in a position to do nothing about this. I think that we're once again in this position in college football where you've got, politicians and everybody and their mom is involved, and Brett Yormark is somehow supposed to be this guy that is supposed to have all these solutions and is supposed to somehow today come out with some type of statement or some type of discipline or whatever it is to fix this problem that he hasn't even created. He's the guy that basically is at his house, Texas Tech rolled up, dropped a pile of crap on his front door, and now he's supposed to do something with it. And that's the part that I think is just so difficult here. And we're going to get to this sham of a meeting these guys had at Texas Tech. But when you listen to these guys talk and you listen to Tech and what they say about, what they're doing with Buddy's phone and, tampering or integrity shouldn't be a concern at Tech. And like, I just think that today is a day where people expecting Yormark in the conference to just absolutely eviscerate these guys are probably going to be disappointed on some level. People expecting Texas Tech to just get off scot-free are also going to be disappointed on some level. But at some point, this problem that we have in college athletics that is a Big 12 problem, obviously, this has to go away. And I don't know when it will go away because, again, this isn't a fast fix. There's not something that this week, tomorrow is going to happen to fix this problem. So that, for me, that's the bigger concern. But I still maintain that this sort of sidebar conversation we've had on the show for the last 6 weeks about, Brett Yormark's viability in this conference, today is one of those days that I think really will contribute to that path. Absolutely, positively will.
And I think one of the most interesting parts of this has been obviously the heel turn from hero to zero for Cody Campbell. And I think it just every day it gets worse, right? Every day that Cody Campbell continues to do stupid stuff in defense of Brendan Sorsby. And he continues to say stupid stuff. And this whole thing where he is, because he is a passionate defender and advocate for the Protect College Sports Act. He is a passionate defender of the Protect College Sports Act. Well, if that passes and he continues to be a defender for it, the only issue with that is that Brendan Sorsby won't be eligible to play at Texas Tech if it passes. Here it is right here. And this is Brendan Sorsby. This is Trinidad Chambliss. This is all the people playing on injunctions,
on borrowed time,
temporary restraining orders. Yeah, they're done. It takes effect with immediate impact. Shall apply with respect to any action or proceeding pending or commenced on or after the date of the enactment of this act. So you have screwed yourself into the ground so desperately that Cody Campbell, who we're now supposed to believe is the guy saving college sports, right? This is the guy who wants us to just be like, okay, here you go, billionaire. Here's college sports. Please save us. He's the guy. And now the act that he claims, because it won't, let's just make that very clear, save college sports. The act he claims will save college sports will undo all of this and make him look like more of a stooge than he already does. You cannot make this up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this Cody Campbell is it's rather incredible in my opinion. If you look at Cody Campbell, the transition that's taken place. I mean, this is a guy that at one point was regarded as, you know, a game changer, a trailblazer, a guy that
Jake, he's a disruptor.
I know, a disruptor, a game changer, as I said, and now I really do. I really do feel like Cody Campbell's turned himself into nothing short of a villain in college football. And part of that is his own fault. There's no question about that. He's talked too much. He's said some dumb things, in my opinion. Certainly being nice about it. He said ill-advised things. You have what he just explained about the Protect College Sports Act.
Jake, it's Penn State's fault. It's Penn State's fault. Right?
Like comparing this to pedophilia in college athletics, comparing this to SRTville in Athens. Like I understand that in this country and naturally as people, our first reaction to anything is to compare it to something else. That's just what we do now for whatever reason. Yeah. But my first reaction was like, yeah, here's the problem, dude. Like, yes, those were issues. Yes, the Penn State thing got adjudicated. Obviously, first team all SRT hasn't really been adjudicated yet. But whether they have or they have not has no meaning in your situation, right? Like, right. What you should be saying is, yeah, you know what? Like, there have been other big issues in college football that have obviously taken place, and we've gone through those. But our situation is extremely unique, and that's why we're asking people to have an open mind about this and actually look at these issues. But you're so out of your depth with trying to argue your point here that all you're trying to do is compare, which tells me that you're in trouble. Because notice when somebody has a really strong point, this is generally speaking, anytime someone has a really strong point, they don't have to do, well, yeah, but what about over here? What about over there? All they're going to do is say, look, right here, I've got you, game over. And I'm telling you, it's just a really tough stance if you're Texas Tech to have to play that game.
Yeah. And I will play it again because I think it is so remarkable. And now we've seen the Texas Tech roundtable that you're going to see bites from in a second. But this is one of the stupidest comments I've ever seen.
And you say, look, dude, you bet on your team. We're going to take care of you, but you can't play.
Hey, look, but again, there are kids that are playing that have gotten DUIs, that have beaten up women. They're kids that have committed horrible acts. I mean, nobody boycotted to play Penn State a few years ago when that horrible situation happened there. I mean, it was.
Well, can I ask you then, why do you think people are wanting to boycott in this particular situation?
Well, it's because
you're right about all of this.
It's because the college football world doesn't think that Texas Tech should be as good as we are. You know, we've been a disruptor, just like Indiana.
No, you haven't been a disruptor.
It's perfect, dude. I don't know, dude.
You're not a disruptor. You're not like Indiana, and nobody gives a rat's ass about Texas Tech as a athletic program, other than the fact that you're playing Brendan Sorsby, who bet on his own team over 40 times while he was at Indiana.
Yeah, what a good point. What do you mean you're like Indiana, dude? What do you mean? You haven't won any. You haven't scored a single point in the college football playoff, dude. What do you mean you're like Indiana?
Yeah, it's nothing like Indiana. It is nothing like Indiana. It's amazing to me. It's just amazing to me that this is where we are. And I don't even know how you deal with this stuff. And I'm trying to find the words to describe how stupid Cody Campbell's statements were in that Dan Dockich interview. The stupidity, the want to is wild to me. And then you have to throw in this whole thing about the round table. That I truly think this is a disaster of epic proportions.
This was all part of his condition to return to our football program. So this was a well thought out and comprehensive plan that includes ongoing outpatient clinical care, individual and group treatment and therapy. We've set him up with a network of mentors across the country that have similar issues that he can speak with as needed. We've put a custodian of his personal finances in place. We've put monitoring software on his technology devices that ensures that he cannot place bets through that, as well as monitor any activity that he has on those technology devices. And then we also have routine compliance checks that will take place over the course of the next few months to make sure that he's following these orders.
So wait, let me get this right. This is a kid who is a victim and you believe is the aggrieved party, but you put in all of those barriers in place to make sure that he doesn't gamble again. You're monitoring his phone. You're monitoring his bank accounts. You're managing his finances. For an average-ass quarterback who was ranked 48th in the country in passing, to play 1 year at Texas Tech, you're doing all of that. That seems like an awful lot of work to me to have an average-ass quarterback play. And then the president of your university just continues to talk about how rules are outdated.
We did ask the NCAA to consider modifying or changing their policies when we wrote that letter welcoming him back. But I think we have to recognize that the rules in place now were made long before there were millions of young people walking around with illegal gambling apparatus in their pocket. And that our consideration today needs to take into account the fact of medically diagnosed conditions and the circumstances in which they live. And so I'm very proud to be sitting here with these colleagues supporting Brendan. But that support goes way beyond this room.
So now it's because, and let me get this right, Mr. President. Now it's because adults have phones in their pockets because they're not kids anymore. Stop calling Brendan Sorsby a kid. He's not a kid. He is an adult making millions of dollars and making terrible decisions. And you're blaming the phone in his pocket. That's why he's the aggrieved party, because there's a phone in his pocket. And if that wasn't bad enough, then your athletic director says,
there's no reason whatsoever to question the integrity of our athletics department or the competitive product that we put on the fields or on the courts each and every time that we go out. Integrity of the game is sacred. And that's why we've gone to such great lengths to ensure the monitoring and the compliance measures are in place for Brendan's return that Grant talked about.
So, so you're saying that the integrity of the game is of the highest priority, and you're employing somebody that your own money guy, buddy who you trust and believe. And well, frankly, you take marching orders from Cody Campbell, says we're super excited and happy to pay even if we can't play him the first 2 games. Because he admits he bet on his own team more than 40 times at Indiana. And not only did he admit that, but now we know that you're paying for all kinds of oversight, including financial. You're monitoring his phone. You're essentially, you put a watchdog on him just so he can play 1 year of college football and probably attend Texas Tech University for less than 4 months. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes you ask the question, like, what is this really about for Texas Tech? Because you can't tell me that this is any longer about just winning football games. Like there's a commitment level here that is far beyond what anybody would consider normal. And that's the part that I really struggle with. Like again, you're doing this for a kid that a kid, as they call him, because I agree he's an adult.
He's not a kid.
You're doing this for someone who is not like one of the best quarterbacks in the country. It would. I honestly believe it would make people feel a little better about this if Brendan, don't call me Brandon, was the difference between you winning a national championship and not. Like if your football team was set up in a way where you were one quarterback away, basically, then I'd be like, okay, as despicable as this is, I guess I can at least understand that. But it's hard for me to understand why they're so married to this and why they're so really, and it's not even him, but it's committed to him playing football this season. Because it would be really easy for them to just say, yeah, we're going to fight the good fight, and this is our opinion, but you're not going to be able to play for us, right? Like, we're going to support you, education, monitoring, all that stuff, but we still can't have you on the field because that would be an integrity of the game issue. That's the part that I just don't understand. Like, hey, have your opinion, okay, great, that's what you think. But basically everybody under the sun except you thinks that this is an integrity of the game issue at this point. So it really does make me wonder, is this a thing where they're just being stubborn and they're just fighting this fight because now they're so committed they couldn't be seen to have egg on their face and basically unwind the opinion? Or do they really believe this and they really are this delusional? That question to me is the one, when you talk about like today and the happenings in the Big 12 and what's going on, that to me is the one where I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, are we ever going to get Cody Campbell or anybody in that round table of experts coming out and saying, hey, like, we made a mistake here? Does that ever happen before this is over? That to me,
nobody's ever going to admit to a mistake at Texas Tech. They're not going to. They're going to say they're trying to do the right thing and they're taking the interests of the kid, the 22-year-old man-child, apparently. I think when you have the Big 12 Board of Directors meeting today, this is when the showdown begins. Do we get an announcement about their action today? Probably not. I would love to have them meet and then come out and say that, they're burning Texas Tech football to the ground by taking them off the schedule or whatever it is, because that's the level of activity that needs to happen. There needs to be, and maybe draconian's the right word. I saw somebody say that it was draconian to punish Texas Tech. Take Texas Tech and substitute any university in this country for Texas Tech. if any other university had done this, I think they already would have admitted their mistake and Sorsby would be done as a college football player. They'd be done. And we would not be having this conversation. We'd be talking about the Knicks winning a championship or the embarrassment that was UFC 250 last night. We would not be talking about the greater good or integrity of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We would not. And my struggle is that I think no matter what, and this is my argument with Cody Campbell, this is when you know somebody like Cody Campbell's a problem. When you won't admit your mistake, and it's clearly a mistake to support Brendan Sorsby as a football player. As a human being who's got a gambling addiction, I'm all for supporting him. I think gambling could easily destroy your life if you have the track record that Brendan Sorsby has. But the idea that you're like, nope, he's got to play football. The best thing we could do is get him back on the football field. That's complete bullshit. That's not the best thing you can do. In fact, I believe it is one of the worst things.
And most people agree with that. That's the crazy part. That is like, we always talk about common sense on the show. It doesn't get more common sense than that.
But it's not even common sense. It's what's best for your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
You own the Big 12 conference. You are unquestionably the best football program in the conference. Without doubt. You will almost certainly go to the college football playoff this year. Even if Jake is your quarterback, you're going to the college football playoff this year. You have a guy in Will Hammond who's more than capable. So help me understand why it is you're making this decision. Why is it that you're dying on this hill? And why is it that you want to fight this fight and you're so passionate about fighting this fight? It makes no sense whatsoever that this is what we're doing. I guess I will just never understand it. And these are all self-inflicted wounds. These are all, and Texas Tech fan, hear me clearly. You did this to yourself. These are decisions you made.
Mm-hmm.
To not do your homework on Brendan Sorsby, because that is the only plausible deniability you have. We did not know he had a gambling issue when we signed him. Okay, you didn't know you had a gambling issue. Totally get it. But now you need to say, well, now that we know he bet on his own team more than 40 times at Indiana, now we can't have him as part of the football program. But we owe it to him. We have a responsibility to Brendan Sorsby to make sure he gets his education, number one, and number two, to make sure that we set him up for the rest of his life to succeed. It's just not that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And yet here we are, and you've chosen to go scorched earth on this to the point where you called in a favor, because that is my belief. Cody Campbell has donated to the campaigns of guys like Ken Paxton. And now you have the Attorney General of Texas writing letters threatening the Big 12 conference. Inexplicably, you have turned this into scorched earth for no reason other than to save your ego. It's wild to me.
Yeah,
it is just wild to me.
Necessary. It's unnecessary. It's not something that needed to be. It's not something that needed to happen. It's not anything like that. This is something that they did to themselves. And I really just feel like ultimately it's a situation where you're a university. You had one good year, and based on that, you've decided that you apparently run this conference. And I'll remind you guys that Cody Campbell at one point said that Brett Yormark works for the board of governors in the Big 12, which includes him. And that's the part that like since then moving forward, it's just been Cody Campbell and Texas Tech against the world. And that's just a really tough situation. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you deal with that. I don't know how.
I don't know that you do.
Yeah, I have no idea how you. I just don't know how that's possible. I don't know how we got here. I don't know. I don't know what made Cody Campbell decide, like, hey, this is the route we want to go. This is what we feel is best. And my suspicion is it goes all the way back to the losing Sam Levitt to LSU scenario. Because again, if you remember, all of this whole thing, this entire situation is based on the fact that you couldn't get Sam Levitt, and Sam Levitt went to LSU, and Lane Kiffin beat you to the punch on that. So you had to default to the great gambler.
I think those are bullet points. We are here for one reason. Cody Campbell cannot admit that he made a mistake. It's as simple as that. Yes, you lost Sam Levitt. You have Will Hammond. Is Sam Levitt better than Will Hammond? Probably. Is Brendan Sorsby better than Will Hammond? I, in my opinion, do not believe that he is better than Will Hammond. I don't think that Brendan Sorsby, who was the 48th ranked passer, and I'd remind you that your boy, Baron Morton, who you all told me I was a complete dick about and have no idea what I was talking about when I told you he was not good. Brendan Sorsby and Baron Morton are essentially the same guy, except Brendan Sorsby is able to run far more effectively than Baron Morton did. He's a dual threat quarterback. But the issue is not that Sam Levitt is, somehow a god or a savior, but you reacted poorly to losing Sam Levitt. And then when the guy that you replaced Sam Levitt with turned out to be a gambling addict, a gambling degenerate, you refused to admit you made a mistake. And so what always happens, you double down. No pun intended. You double down again and again and again and again and again. And now we've got the attorney generals of Texas and Oklahoma exchanging letters. And we've got humiliation and disgrace for Texas Tech, which is, again, funny. Last Friday on the show or last Thursday on the show, you guys went nuclear about how shitty Texas Tech is as an institution. Yeah, again, it was rated as one of the top educational institutions in the country.
But how many people actually know that?
And you just don't seem to grasp the concept that much like Michigan, you're fighting for something that has no merit and no value, and you are throwing your respectability, your ethics out the window. And Cody Campbell continues to reveal what his true character is. That is of a guy who cannot admit he made a mistake, can never admit that he was wrong. So he just keeps doubling down on his points that Texas Tech is only being targeted because nobody likes Texas Tech and they don't believe they should be as good as they are, which is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. And then for your athletic director to go, this is one of the stupidest things of all of the stupid things. And Cody Campbell should really have the mantle full of I said stupid shit awards. But then your athletic director in a round table that you all scripted and put together says something so stupid as
there's no reason whatsoever to question the integrity of our athletics department.
That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard, because we're questioning the ethics and integrity of your athletic department because you're happy and excited to pay a quarterback who admits he bet on his own team more than 40 times. And you're fighting for somebody under the guise of the NCAA's an ogre. They're overreaching. Actually, they're not. They're following the rules and regulations to the letter.
And everybody agrees with that.
And the best part is the legislation you're fighting for to save college sports if it does in fact pass, will mean that Brendan Sorsby is not eligible to play college football for you this year. So these millions of dollars you're spending on this Brendan Sorsby thing, you're just throwing them into the fire, man. That's the part that is so amazing. And it's not that Sam Levitt chose LSU. It's that Cody Campbell can't admit he made a mistake. It's what it is. Pride goeth before the fall, my friends.
Facts.
Just admit you made a mistake and move on. Support Brendan Sorsby in life. He cannot play football for you. When Dan Dockich is the voice of reason, you're fucked. When Dan Dockich is the guy saying, well, bud, I mean, you should. Hey, Monty, we should support him in life, but we can't have him play football. And so Cody, check yourself. And Cody Campbell steps up to passionately disagree with common sense.
And you say, look, dude, you bet on your team. We're going to take care of you, but you can't play.
Hey, look, but again, there are kids that are playing that have gotten DUIs, that have beaten up women. They're kids that have committed horrible acts.
Yeah, and Joe Biden in the UFC on the South Lawn because of T-ball players.
Come on. That's
what DUIs?
An opportunity here to look like a hero, dude. You could have easily like when this story came across Cody Campbell's great desk and everything. Dude had such an opportunity to be like, yeah, we can go villain route and we can, basically fight the entire world. Or there's this shiny yellow brick road to our left over here to where we could be like, yeah, you know what? Like we're going to give Brendan, don't call me Brandon, everything that he needs. But unfortunately, football just isn't a priority in his life right now. And so he's going to move on from the program, but he's going to get an education here. He's going to go to one of the best rehab facilities in the world. Like we're going to do all of that for him. But instead, you went scorched earth and you just decided you had to fight everybody, which is why I continue to say, dude, like we all just have to be on the same page that this guy, Cody Campbell, and his team at Texas Tech suffer from what I have always referred to as little brother syndrome. You see an issue and your first reaction is, what is Big Brother doing? What is the SEC doing about stuff like this? What is anyone else doing? And we're just going to compare ourselves and try to justify why this is right. And I'm telling you, anytime that takes place, there's going to come a day, and I don't know when it'll happen, but it will happen, where these guys are going to wake up and they're going to say, yeah, they'll never say it publicly, but at some point, Cody Campbell will regret his decision on this because
he does already. He does already.
I mean, right, he must.
It happened already.
At some point, dude has to regret this.
Yeah, it happened already. But it's and you look at this, and I don't mean to keep playing this clip. Look at how pissed off and miserable Cody Campbell is while Dan Dockich is talking.
And you say, look, dude, you bet on your team. We're going to take care of you, but you can't play.
Do you see the head tilt? Just look at the misery on his face and the head tilt in Cody Campbell.
And you say, look, dude, you bet on your team. We're going to take care of you, but you can't play.
I mean, it's unbelievable how upset he is. And look at the tenor and the tone and the difference in his face here.
And you look at who's been in charge over the last decade, who's been running this thing, and it is those college commissioners. So
wait, you're fully deep in that guy's throat and probably tapping his lung top. But when Dan Dockich doesn't fillet you, all of a sudden we get a head tilt and a look of misery.
And you say, look, dude, you bet on your team. We're going to take care of you, but you can't play.
It's incredible.
By the way, I'd also like to point out right at the beginning of the clip, did you guys hear the hey dude reference? Like this is Stripes of come on, dude.
Come on, dude.
Listen to the beginning.
And you say, look, dude, you bet on your team. And you say, look, dude, you bet on your team. We're going to take.
It's the same thing, dude. Like, come on, dude. What are we doing here, man? Like, it's the same thing, man.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, let's get your comments in here. It is important to note that the the meeting, excuse me, happening in the Big 12 today is, I think this is D-Day.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is Pretty sure it's presidents and chancellors meeting with, essentially it is the Big 12 board of directors meeting on this issue. And I have heard repeatedly that all of the athletic directors outside of Texas Tech in their meeting with Brett Yormark are in favor of sanctioning Texas Tech in some form or fashion. What that turns out to be, that I don't believe that the Big 12 would say we're kicking you out of the conference. It's not happening. I do believe that they will not play Texas Tech in football. I think that's where it would start. And again, my projection, we can now project, I don't know. My belief is what ultimately happens, we're going to get I'm withdrawing from Texas Tech to focus on my health and my preparation for the NFL draft. I no longer want to be a distraction for Texas Tech football. This is a fine institution, and the people in Lubbock have wrapped their arms around me and meant so much to me. Lubbock, Texas, and Texas Tech will always have a special place in my bookie's wallet. But I have to withdraw for the best of everyone involved in the situation, except Cody
and his money.
Except Cody Campbell, who still has not admitted he was wrong.
Or paid Cincinnati the $1 million, but that's a different conversation.
I wish everyone the best. And I thank you for respecting my privacy. That's what we're going to get out of Brandon Sorsby.
Doesn't Brett Yormark in the conference have a responsibility to force their hand? I mean, at some point, someone has to stand up to these guys.
Yeah, he can never play a snap of football.
And if he does, I mean, you were trying to defend yourself and justify yourself before this scandal took place. I agree. If that dude ever sees the football field, you're a joke of a conference. I mean, I can't even. I legitimately, I can't take the Big 12 seriously if you're going to allow this to take place. And I understand that Tech and Campbell and attorney generals and anybody else who wants to get in on it are going to fight to the death. But if there was ever a hill to die on as a conference, this would be the hill to die on, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think we're going to find out. I think we're going to find out just how Pete Forte loves the show for 31 months.
Okay, Pete.
Pete, appreciate your support. It means so much to us. And, thank you for all of your support. And we thank you for thoughts and prayers and stuff. It is what it is, Yeah. It's fine. All right, let's go. Who's in first today? Let's see. Of course, it's Mike Smith. Big 12 board meeting today could get interesting. Hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. It helps the channel grow. Matt Ritson, morning. Top of the morning to you. Ryan Duffy. Ryan, what do you think happens? You're the resident Texas Tech fan. Next to Oak State James, who's a Baylor fan and a Syracuse alum. Again, James catching strays. He's probably not even here yet. Good morning. Good morning, Chewy. How about the Dodgers? Am I the only one that's surprised that the White Sox are good? The Chicago White Sox are actually winning games.
Yeah, it's June. Give them a couple months. They'll be fine.
Rock and Rant says Jalen. Then he says Brunson. Okay. Did you guys see Jose Alvarado, who I can't stand?
Little guy.
Yeah, I hope he falls off the bus today. It's not the point. Anyway, Buddy the Leprechaun, did you see that he went into the Puerto Rican Day Parade in, I think, Brooklyn yesterday? They get back to New York, and he just went to the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Took off his shirt like any proud man does. I know I take my shirt off every day.
All the time.
Just not in public in a parade.
Right.
You couldn't handle it. The point is, Jose Alvarado just running around Brooklyn without a shirt yesterday in the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I thought it was amazing. Chewy, Texas Tech's 22-minute video should be nominated for a Razzie. Dude, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. It's amazing. Welcome to the nightmare who is still bald this morning, just so you know.
Yeah.
Good morning, fellas, and welcome back, KC, Jakey, Two Shakes.
Yeah, thanks.
You know. Jake, Marcus has a question.
Okay, what else can Marcus bless us with this morning?
Marcus would like to know, if you were black, would you have a black background, or is just a white guy thing you're doing today?
I don't know. I'm not black, so I can't comment on that, Marcus.
Is this just a white guy thing with the white background and the
Listen,
white
we're
shirt?
in a strange time.
You know.
Listen,
I would also point out that Carrie DMs on the old TikTok machine and says, "Has somebody kidnapped Jake? It is my belief that he is doing the show from an alien spacecraft, because that is the only thing."
Do you want me to turn the lights off? Would that be better for you guys? Here, look here. Let me help the show. Okay, here's the lights off. All right, we'll come over here. Marcus, is this better for you, dude? Would you prefer this look? Is this better for you? I mean, I can do the rest of the show this way, dude. Like I can do it this way. I mean, I don't know what, you know, I mean, we can go one light. I mean, we can, let's see, let me get the old remote here. We'll go over here. Okay, let me turn the other light off now. I mean, I can do it this way. What do you think? What do you think? Would this be better for you, dude? I mean, I know that you're an expert in all things lighting. Not all of us have $100 million studios wherever you are, you know. So I'm just saying, I'm making the best of a situation over here, dude. Like I'm just doing what I can.
Listen, Fox Sports bought Tubi in $1 billion deal. Did you guys see that? I think they bought Tubi. I've never watched Tubi, so you know, you do you. Yeah, a lot of people are commenting. About you. So, is this what the background looks like forever now, or? Are we going to add some?
Now, I mean, I can wallpaper. I can put a black wallpaper behind me if you'd like. I mean, if that would help. I mean, and listen. I mean, since the resident lighting expert is here, I mean, we can.
You are just very white. You are very Caucasian today.
Okay, here. I'll change the lighting. So we'll make the lighting much more yellow. That way, that's the wrong button.
That's turning it off, too.
Yeah, that's the wrong button. Over here. Okay. All right. So we're gonna come right here. Okay, that's off and on.
Turn it off.
Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. Okay, now we're moving in the right direction. I mean, I can do that if you like. I mean, that's just, you know, but like I don't know what you want me to do, bro. I work with the conditions that I have, man. I don't know what you want me to do. Don't know what you want me to do, bro.
Marcus also said Jake works the lights just as well as that razor he didn't work this morning. Come on, dude.
No, somebody has to, bro.
Come on, dude.
Somebody has to. You know, and maybe, and I know, Marcus, since you're feeling in such an inspired mood.
And he worked. Come on.
Maybe at some point you could work up the courage to actually get into the comment section so other people could argue with you. I know that would be a lot to ask, though, dude.
So, well, he needs to protect his identity on some level. Come on.
Is there no lesson from James? Do you not know what a burner account is?
I thought it was Brandon Sorbet. It is, exactly. The Frog Father, hello. Jay McClenahan. Texas Tech didn't help themselves with the roundtable. Just saying nothing is best PR. Yeah, say nothing. If again, what I said Thursday when Jake blew off his responsibility to the show.
It's disgusting.
You know, it's one of those things where if Cody Campbell had just signed and happily paid that man his money, and say nothing. We're not having this discussion today. Again, we're not talking about this today. But it's the fact that it's the fact that you have just continued to talk and perpetuate and push this stuff, and you continue to do that on a regular basis. This roundtable, I think the Penn State reference is probably the stupidest thing that's been said by anybody involved with Texas Tech, right? I mean, I don't, Jake, I don't know what you think, but have you heard the Penn State thing?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
That was ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know what, like that was him talking off the top of his head, in my opinion. That was Cody Campbell just basically just trying to justify his position. And I again, when you talk off the top of your head,
yes,
you say dumbass things. And with all due respect, Cody, and I respect your business acumen in the oil world and Fort Worth and everything that you've done there. But
all money,
again,
boy.
My opinion is, again, I do feel like Cody is out of his depth in this realm, dude.
Yes.
I don't think you know what you're talking about. I don't
100.
I don't think you know,
or excuse
the
me,
difference
100.
between an AG and what an attorney general can cover and what they can't cover and how that applies to the Big 12 bylaws and tenets. I don't think you know the difference, dude, because if you did, you wouldn't be operating in the way that you are. You wouldn't be referencing, first team all SRT or Penn State or any of this other crap that you want to, pontificate about. That's not, you wouldn't
pontificate
be any of that, bro. You would be saying, you know what our best play here is and I do believe Cody thinks that this bill, the Protect College Sports Act, I do personally believe that in his heart of hearts, he believes that's what's best for college football.
I personally believe
in the Lubbock that this bro here thinks that bill
Brendan should be playing quarterback in the Iraq.
Yeah. And it's amazing. We've graduated from at Texas Tech. We've graduated from making a fuss about folding pocket knives on the sideline to now gambling in congressional bills. Like what's next? Dude?
How?
What is next?
The farcical stuff that has happened in Lubbock. That's a great point. That is such a good point, Jake. Like that pocket knife that you could have used to shave, Leitold, because it never happened.
Literally, dude.
Literally.
Lance Leitold, dude.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Congrats to my Canes. Dominant performance to win the Stanley Cup. Indeed. Randy Riding, hello. Texas Tech Roundtable was an absolute joke. They aren't smart enough to get out of their own way. Exactly right, dude. Exactly. And it is one of the traits of the worst people. The worst people love to hear themselves talk. I'm sure Genghis Khan loved to hear himself. Probably a bad analogy. UFC championship title match was a complete farce. What are you talking about? Conundrum. We have to talk about this. We do have to talk about it. The Chad Carter. Hello. Can we just acknowledge how college football's offseason has become heavy with headlines more every year?
Yes.
Every year, every summer, something stupid is happening. Expansion NIL, legal issues, individual player stories unheard of 25 years ago.
Yeah, and somehow Cody Campbell has been able to manage topping Lane Kiffin as the villain of college football. Notice nobody's talking about Lane Kiffin tarmac interviews with Marty anymore. We're all just sitting here talking about roundtables and what's next out of Lubbock, dude. It's wild.
Yeah, I'm amazed by it, and I struggle so much because I feel like my disappointment. It's so funny. I was talking to my wife about this, and that is that the judiciary in this country, the judges, have actually made surprisingly strong constitutional rulings when it comes to certain people and I'm surprised by it. But I'm also on the other end of the spectrum equally surprised by this idea that you have judges making these rulings in favor of these players. We're compromising our Constitution so Brendan Sorsby can be a one-year quarterback at Texas Tech. Because that's the only way I can justify this ruling. The granting of this injunction, it's unheard of. It's setting precedent. It's just shit that judges hate doing. Judges don't want to set precedent. Leave that to the Supreme Court, which is a different conversation, different show. But leave precedent setting to the Supreme Court. the judiciary at the local, county, state, district level don't want to set precedent. None of them do. It's what you try to avoid. Yet here we are with all of these eligibility lawsuits and injunctions, and I went to Michigan law, so cheeseburgers for hungry kids is A-okay with me. This kind of nonsense that I just cannot wrap my head around because it makes no sense. It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and then and then we wonder why there's corruption conversations happening. And that's why I'm saying, like, whether you did or you didn't, the court of public opinion is clear, and the minimum is, hey, this is a really bad look, and we have questions. And at some point, the questions will be answered, and it may take 20 years, it may take 30 years, I don't know, dude, but I just think that Cody Campbell has put himself in an unwinnable position, in my opinion. And because no matter what happens now, let's say that somehow, some way you perform some miracle and Buddy sees the field. You really tell me that this guy's going to live up to it? He's going to live up to all this pressure you've put on him now to perform.
Anything short of a national championship, and he's not living up to it. No,
not at all. And that's where I say, like, what position have you put this guy in? And I love the idea that these guys are like, oh, well, man, we're taking care of them, and we're with Brandon, and we support Brandon.
Go Brandon.
Go Brandon. And yes, I know it's Brendan. I'm intentionally calling him Brandon after his lawyer. Stop. Don't get in the comment section criticizing me for that. It's a bit. So Brandon, yeah, dude, they're just dying on the hill for this guy, and I just
shocking.
Like I don't know, like if you're Brett Yormark and you're the commissioner's office, you literally have the role of playing dad here, where it's like, all right, yeah, my kid's being a bag. What am I going to do about this? And ultimately, I agree. I would not be surprised to see a medium level boycott, if you will. Hey, nobody's going to play you in football until you either let this kid go or you commit to not playing him. One, two, we're only going to do it in football because we don't feel it's fair to penalize every, student athlete at Texas Tech because you guys are buffoons in the football program. And then three, at some point, once this happens, then the rest of college football can get on board, because I saw everybody and their mom over the weekend saying, oh, well, did you guys see the Big Ten is still going to play Texas Tech? Did you see that? Like, this is crazy. And it's like, yeah, they might have agreed to that at this point, but they can have another meeting and they can change that in about 3 hours. So I'm not exactly committed to what they've decided yet. I think that was just a very surface level, at this time we'll still play them. Let's see what else plays out before the season type ruling in the Big Ten.
Oklahoma State for life Syracuse fan James. I will agree that the rules should be updated. College athletes should not have betting apps on their phones. But again, I will just continue to say, this is what freedom looks like. We're now telling people what apps they can have on their phone. Bro, he's an adult. He's 22 years old. Make choices. Deal with the consequences.
Did you have that take before all this went down? Were you thinking about, oh man, we need governance on people's phones?
I don't want fucking Obama telling me what apps to have on my phone.
Like, what do you mean?
Right? I don't want. No, the answer is no. I don't want the government in my life. What I want is the freedom to make choices and the understanding that my choices have consequences.
Yeah, because that's the issue here, right? I mean, this is the age-old discussion on the show. I mean, all this, and again, James, because you're the one who said it, not because it's you, but like you just happen to comment this. Like, I hate the take of like, oh, well, man, yeah, we got to update the rules. Well, why do we need to update the rules? The rules are very clear here. You gamble on your own team, you're never playing again. So it's
not
really
complicated
not with the rule, dude. The issue is hey, Tech is trying to get this kid on the field and they're trying to get around the rule.
Yes.
That's the difference, is that I don't need governance on my iPhone. I don't need, like, that's why it's such a dumb take what the president of Texas Tech said. Like, oh man, the rules were created in the Stone Ages and now these kids can do it on their phone. Bro, like, do you really think before phones were a thing, guys didn't have bookies and there weren't other ways? Like, it's such a Stone Age level thinking. Like, it's not, the rule isn't the issue, man. You're only making it an issue because you don't like that it's being applied to you. That's your problem here, man. And that's where I say the hypocrisy couldn't be higher in Lubbock. It couldn't be more rich at this time.
Here's the president of Texas Tech at that, I don't know what now regrettable roundtable.
We did ask the NCAA to consider modifying or changing their policies when we wrote that letter welcoming him back. But I think we have to recognize that the rules in place now were made long before there were millions of young people walking around with a legal gambling apparatus in their pocket.
That's such a cop-out. Am I making too much out of this? I want freedom. I want freedom. I don't want the government in my living room, man. I don't want the government in my bedroom, man. I want the ability to make choices and live my life the way I see fit. And if I want gambling apps on my phone, or if I want porn apps on my phone, or, well, goddamn, I live in Seattle, man. If I want to walk around the streets and smoke weed, which every soccer fan on the planet apparently does in Seattle, great. But those choices have consequences. And I don't want the government getting into my business.
And so why is it that Texas Tech wants to fight this so much? Like that's, I'm still stuck on that. It's very clear what the rule was. And listen, if you want to have a conversation about, the credibility, the viability, the way the NCAA goes about enforcing things, I'm all here for that. You want to talk about systems and processes and things like that, that's fine. But in a very rare occurrence on this here program, for once, I agree with what Dabo said over the weekend. You guys see what Dabo said to a reporter? Dabo said, "Yeah, the only thing worse than not having than having bad rules is not having any rules at all. Like if we're not going to enforce this, what are we even doing? What's next? If you're not going to enforce integrity of the game issues around gambling, what are we going to fight next? Who's the next? Like, what hill is next? And that's where I say, like, the issues, the problem with comparing yourself to Georgia or Penn State or any of those other things is ultimately, man, like, those aren't comparable situations.
Not at all.
A completely different thing. And I still maintain that Brendan Sorsby should feel grateful that he's not in more legal trouble here if you look at the timeline. Because in my opinion, when he was at Indiana, he was, you're talking about a very fine line with how old you were and everything that you were doing here. So I just think that if I'm Sorsby, go to the NFL. Like, from his side, from Tech's side, from any side, go to the NFL. Leave this behind. Play the Jim Harbaugh card. Like, this is not hard to understand.
Brandon.
So I was very happy to have this day in court for Brandon.
You're just such a bag, dude. My name is high affluent lawyer guy who gets paid a lot of money.
My name is the most powerful attorney in all of professional sports.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Kessler is that dude is a stud, and he called him. I don't know. And I think the bigger issue is that anybody named Brandon is pretty much a scumbag. Yeah. I mean, that's just the reality of the world we live in. They're scumbags. Oh, look, Brandon Butler's been a member of the show for 41 years.
Wow.
You ain't first, you're last.
Just because you can say something doesn't mean you should, Cody. People need to learn that digging deeper isn't the way. That's exactly right, dude. Sage advice for some dude named Brandon. Good to see you, Brando. Just cut me a check and I'll call you whatever I want. Exactly right. Exactly right. Welcome to the nightmare. That's exactly just, hey man, Steve, Tom, Brendan, Brandon, same thing. Same thing. You know. Oh God.
Hey, just add to it,
What does Jake know about rain?
Yeah.
Ooh, wow. That was almost a disaster. Foot got caught on a cable and almost yanked a $1,000 piece of equipment off the desk. It's fine. It's what we do. We make choices. Brent says TV contracts are loving the Sorsby dilemma. Many people will hate watch. Many people will hate watch.
Agreed.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Angry Phil Benzer. Hello, VGK. Too old and slow, bro. Or maybe Carolina was just the best team in the NHL this year.
Yeah.
By a lot. I think that's what it was. Banana Republic soccer, too many ties, but female fans are nice and Chicago has a first place team.
What are you talking about?
I have no idea.
What are you talking about?
Less weed. Welcome to the nightmare. I thought it was always Brandon. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I haven't had my name said this much since that night with your mom. Ho ho!
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
Your mom.
Right.
I think the Big 12 sanctions Tech today, but by deeming them ineligible for Big 12 title game if they play Sorsby, thus taking their auto bid possibilities away, they won't boycott Tech. I think they're going to make them ineligible for postseason play.
I think that if you don't boycott Tech, you're going to have to explain why. And that explanation better be good.
I would agree. Angry Phil, I'm convinced that Danhausen and Jake are one and the same.
You come in here every day with that take, dude. We get it.
Okay.
I understand.
Philip, how can you be upset with the Vegas Golden Knights? What a great run with Torts. I mean, is he a long-term fit? No, he never is, but he did his job, right? That dude looks like the finance guy at a used car lot. Not wrong. Not wrong. Let's kick Texas Tech Institute of Technology out of the Big 12 for a year. Yeah, I don't think that's the right answer. And if Cincinnati knew that Sorry did bet on sports, they should get fined. Well, I think that's coming too. There will be long.
Oh, we'll get to the Tower Chiefs logs.
Oh, we'll get to the Bearcats betting bookie guy thing. I think there's going to be long-reaching ramifications on Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. That old guy is just the figurehead now. Guys in the back do the real work. Okay. Feels like a movie line. Would the NFL take a player who is known to have bet on his college games?
Yes.
You think they would?
Somebody will. Yes, somebody will. 100% somebody will.
Okay. Definitely. Matthew says definitely a cop-out. Judge still has the Me Too mentality. Everyone gets a trophy and no punishment for breaking the rules. It's annoying as hell that you're just setting the Constitution aside for Brandon Sorsby. Brandon. Be mad at the NCAA and the courts. There does need to be change because the rules are now unenforceable. Totally agree. Every school would play a QB if they spent $5 million and they were granted to play. I don't think I do. I truly believe that nobody would have signed Brendan Sorsby because most schools do their homework on the guy. You don't hand a guy $5 million without doing a background check. Unless you're Texas Tech, because apparently they didn't know he was gambling. Oh. Because they can't admit they knew he was gambling. So, and I don't believe they did.
But again, it's what you always say. Oh, you knew? Okay, that's a terrible look. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, it's an even worse look, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. The Oklahoma State fan in the room for $5. If Hunter Deckers lost his career for betting on one Iowa State game, how is this guy cleared to play? Did the judge not read previous cases? It wasn't about previous cases. This judge, do you guys understand how these rulings happen? It wasn't, you have to understand the context, the frame of what this judge was actually doing. This judge made no ruling. All this judge did was kick the can down the road by granting an injunction, which essentially puts a pause button on the action the NCAA took against Let's Go Brandon, against Sorsby. That's all this judge did. He didn't make a ruling. He didn't say, hey, in perpetuity, you're allowed to play for the rest of your gambling life. He said, I'm going to put a hold on the NCAA's decision until a court can hear a full case, which will never happen because Brendan Sorsby is going to play this year, drop his action, and go to the NFL. That's the most egregious part of it. The judge is well aware of that. The judge knows no trial date would be set until long after the football season. He knew that no appeal could be heard before the football season. So he essentially gave Brendan Sorsby a free pass. He made no decision. He made no ruling. He simply said, we're going to put a hold on this until a court can hear a full argument. That's what his injunction essentially said in layman's terms. And it's incredibly disappointing.
Yeah.
It's incredibly disappointing. I'll be in Florida June 23rd, 25th, going to see UCF Bounce House construction. Okay, hold on. I need to put that in my calendar. It's an important date. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Did you make it out to Eugenia to see the new practice facility, or what's next?
Yeah. What do you got against Oregon?
Yeah. What's the problem?
What do you hate militias? Plus, this is about a rules violation, not a criminal case.
Yep.
Exactly right. Exactly right. It's just an injunction. So, bro, you know it. Monty, you guys better back off or I will have to notify Cody of slander allegations. Exactly. And then there's James in front of a Texas Tech flag.
I didn't notice that till after you read that. That's incredible, dude.
So many burners out of James. Yeah. James, please don't come here. What? You're going to meet up with James. You guys are going to go to, is there a Buc-ee's in Florida?
No, there's a pizza joint where James can do a pizza review, Monty.
Come on. Why are we not getting any more Portnoy-esque videos out of you, James? I mean, I played your 7-second video last week.
Yeah, after you got all pissy with us saying that we didn't play like a minute-long video that was only 7 seconds. You remember that?
Well, you guys play BDM videos all the time.
Yeah, mainly because his have anything in them.
And notice,
content.
And notice, BDM has sent me no videos.
So apparently Victor's not the way.
Victor's the way.
That guy's a scumbag.
Peasant.
Victor Wembanyama's a scumbag. Period. Ryan Duffy, James not making the show about himself again. Thanks for your June travel update. I mean, I know everybody here tells us.
See what the July update is, bro.
Going on a road trip. James, why did you want us to know that? Are you thinking that you're going to, are you going to do a video that we need to play on the show about the bounce house?
And listen, 10 seconds isn't going to get it done, okay? I know that works for you in other areas of your life, but we're going to need a full minute.
Right, 10 seconds isn't getting it. 10 seconds is plenty of time. Anyway. Giovanni's is less than a mile from the bounce house. What is Giovanni's? I could do a video about that place. Pizza is really good. Oh, okay.
Okay, Giovanni's Pizza.
But I don't understand, why did you stop doing the pizza videos? You were all fired up about how you were going to become a millionaire on pizza review videos. Someone asked me a question about stadiums. Okay.
Right, but I'm asking you a question about the pizza videos, dude. When are like what's the content plan for that? Because we don't need the travel updates. We need the content plan around pizza videos.
Oh, somebody asked when he was coming to Florida. Okay. Look, I'm sure Ron DeSantis is waiting for you. I just didn't see the question about that. Well, I'm glad you're going to Florida. I'm glad somebody asked, because if that had been just out of left field, that would have been so on brand for you. So I'm glad somebody asked. That's a step forward for you, James. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. You're growing as a commenter.
James, are you the guy that doesn't like to fly in airplanes as well? Are you the guy that drives all over the country?
You do, and when you have that Japo shit box that cannot be comfortable for road trips. It just can't be comfortable for road trips. Marcus says Fox is not buying Tubi, it's Roku, dick. Okay, well.
Bro.
Sorry.
My bad. Sorry, dude. I get him confused. Tubi, Roku, this guy, that, like, I mean, come on, bro. Come on. Our fault. Sorry, dude.
Please don't bring up bobblehead. Okay. Bro, you know it. James only needs 300 seconds a month to stay healthy.
If you felt these balls.
I sent Jake an Instagram post over the weekend that he probably ignored about how 21 times a month keeps your prostate healthy. Just saying. Just saying. It is what it is. James should be giving European visitors for the World Cup private stadium tours. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's when okay. Are you guys at all excited for the World Cup? Jake is not at all excited for this. Are you? Did you watch any World Cup over the weekend?
I snippets, 5-10 minutes at most. I didn't watch much of the USA game.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I had, again, I off and on was flipping back and forth, like kind of just saw small segments of it. I was.
Well, you got your Connex box got delivered, right?
Yeah. So my Connex box got delivered. So that was good, and I got my TV back and everything, so that was nice. But I don't know. I find myself like, because it was still group play and it's Paraguay, like I wasn't like, oh man, this is just, man, I gotta sit down and watch all 95 minutes of this. Like I didn't really feel that way. Now, is it a good win? Yeah, it's a good win. Did Team USA do what they should have done? And did they dominate that team? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like this team had a ton of hype. That's what they should have done based on what I've read and what everyone seems to say about this team. So I'm not going to sit here and claim to be some soccer expert or whatever, but
football, please.
Yeah. Football. Sorry. Again, good performance, but let's see you do it against, better competition. I think Paraguay's solid, but it's still Paraguay. Like let's see it against some better teams.
I think that's out. That is, yeah. Yeah. Jurginski on Twitter. Also wants to know if this is the permanent background for Jake. What happened to the shoes?
What is the deal, bro? You guys are freaking out over 2 shelves on a wall. You understand that, right? Like, it wasn't like I had a whole elaborate setup and like, I had an amazing background. I literally had a wall with 2 shelves on them. And that was it. It wasn't some, I mean, I can get you a toe. I mean, literally, if it's that much of a problem, I'll go to some department store.
What are you going to do? Just have a blank white wall?
Well, it's not white. It's beige.
Well, that's right. You don't white balance your camera, so
right. I know, because I'm an imbecile who's never done this before. So. I mean, yeah. Do you want me to? Yeah, Mike. Do you want me to put up a poster of Monty in the background, like AI Monty, or I mean, what do you want? Like,
no, it's not AI Monty. It'd just be nice if you had something up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put a big old cucumber up there.
Well,
it just is what it is. Brent B says, James was responding to my question. I tagged him in the comments. That's cool. It's all good. J2S said weeks ago he was going to decorate. Yeah, people want to hold you accountable, man. Listen, you show up with a neck beard the style you showed up today, you better have something on the wall behind you.
Twitter's been going crazy.
You know.
Haters going to hate, dude. It is what it is.
You know, it's fine. I am watching the World Cup. One game. I watched the U.S. men's team. I don't hate it. What are you laughing about?
Because I think that was like the only game anyone was interested in. There were a couple other, decent matchups, but we're just not. It's very much one of those things where it builds. Like, this is still group play. We're not even in like knockout round yet. We're not. Yeah,
I will say though, Seattle's on fire with it. I mean, it was fun walking around the city in my Chelsea shirt yesterday, my Drogba jersey. A couple of people yelled Chelsea for me, which was fun. But they have, obviously, you guys know Seattle, the Seattle Stadium. Because it's not Lumen Field, it's Seattle Stadium.
Right.
Is one of the host stadiums for the World Cup. And so, like, down on Pike Marketplace, if you go past Pike Marketplace down to the water, they have a huge barge where you can go in. They have a whole party set up on the waterfront where there's a screen and you can watch matches and drink and eat and hang out with other fans. Like, the city's on fire with it. There are a ton of people, and it's beautiful, frankly. Yesterday and today are going to be the two hottest days in the last year. So the weather has been fantastic this weekend. And I think the town's just on fire with it. There are all kinds of people in. And when you add the World Cup fans who are here for the matches, and then multiple cruise ships in port, and it's a beautiful weekend. Like, you have just people everywhere. And I think tickets have not sold. There are a lot of empty seats at venues. I think it's early. And I think a lot of people didn't want to come to the United States, which you understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there's a passion for it. Do I think that most people are watching every match with bated breath? They're not. They're not.
No.
The best part of the World Cup so far is watching local cities adopt a home-based team like Lawrence and Algeria. Yeah. Yeah, we have Belgium. The Devils are in town. So they're staying like literally 3 blocks from my place. So, yeah, it's cool. I do. And yes, exactly right. European fans at Fenway and Buc-ee's. Yeah, how about Buddy getting fired up over ribs at Buc-ee's? It's all good. Jake has gone cheap with no background. He has gone cheap. Ryan Duffy says, put a shelf up behind you with average ass KC barbecue sauces. Kansas City barbecue.
I mean, you want to play games? I'll go. I'll do that. Is that what you want? I mean, if that's what you guys want.
Have you eaten Kansas City barbecue yet?
No, I have not.
Don't do it.
No, I have not.
Don't do it. It's so overrated. Stadium guy James, no pics of me. A Monty Show logo behind Jake would be good.
Brother, pictures of you was never an option. That was never on the table, dude. So
just to have James right here like a gargoyle.
I'm not going to fathead.com and typing in Oak State, don't call me Texas State James into the box. Okay, that's not happening, bro.
All right. Before we crush Victor Wembanyama, what did we all think about this last night? I thought it was a farce. Let me set up for this because I'm sure we're going to get some annoyed people. It was embarrassing. The idea that you had members of our military saluting UFC fighters as they walk down the steps to go to the octagon is embarrassing. Our fighting men and women shouldn't be doing that. And the fact that you had Medal of Honor recipients escort them to the ring so that the honor guard had to salute is ridiculous. The fact that, and this conspiracy around Eric Trump. And I'm curious, do you guys believe that this is real? This is very interesting. Daniel Cormier, who has deleted and can now since commented further, posted a tweet that had screenshots of Eric Trump DMing him, asking him for inside information to bet. And then Eric Trump said that it was fake and they were AI. The screenshots of him DMing Daniel Cormier were fake and AI. They, in my opinion, were not. I fully believe that it was real. And I just don't, I don't know what was the purpose of this. Well, I know the purpose. It was to make people rich.
Yeah, I think what's weird about it is the timing of it. Why are we doing this on June 5th, June 14th? Like, what?
It's Trump's birthday.
Okay, cool.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, I think it's I think it couldn't have been weirder. I think that is it a cool spectacle? I guess. I don't believe, and again, call me what you want, I wouldn't be doing things on the lawn of the White House. That to me is weird and odd. Like, I think there's a certain prestige and a certain aura about the White House that doesn't need to be brought down by the UFC and its style.
Breaking news. Breaking news. It's showdown day in the Big 12. According to Ross Dellinger, the Big 12 has filed a legal complaint in the federal court against Texas Tech and the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, seeking a declaratory judgment and a preliminary injunction to enforce its bylaws and potentially sanction Texas Tech for its plans to play Brendan Sorsby. So there is the first salvo in this that you can see where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Thamel, the Big 12 has filed a complaint in federal court in Dallas for a declaratory judgment, which would effectively give the league the ability to enforce its bylaws. This comes in response to Ken Paxton's letter where he threatened the Big 12. And I think one of the things, if they are given a declaratory judgment, that is huge, because a declaratory judgment is binding. Then I think that's the most important things. And what that would do is essentially that would say our bylaws are being enforced, and because of those bylaws, here's what we're allowed to do. That's what a declaratory judgment means. It essentially clarifies the path forward for the Big 12 and for Texas Tech. Because if they are given a declaratory judgment to enforce their bylaws, it essentially says the Big 12 is able to enforce those bylaws, and those bylaws say this, which means that. That means Brendan Sorsby is never going to play. That also means that the Big 12 has the full power of its bylaws behind them to sanction and punish Texas Tech. So this is a big deal. This is a big deal. For the Big 12 to ask for a declaratory judgment stating that they are in fact empowered by their bylaws to punish Brendan Sorsby, that's a big deal. I think an injunction is one thing. Asking for a declaratory judgment is a completely different step. And I think this is why lawyers get paid.
Yeah, well,
this is why lawyers get paid.
Look, I think it speaks to the Big 12's stance here. I mean, I again, like a lot of people said that we were being dramatic last week when we said that basically the entire league disagrees with what Texas Tech is doing, and most people in college football disagree with what Tech is doing. And just because a conference, doesn't agree to boycott them doesn't mean that they like what they're doing, right? Because there's a lot of legalese in boycotting Texas Tech. So I think that That the Big 12 with this, in my opinion, is saying a couple of things. Number one, I think they're not interested in boycotting Texas Tech because they have other paths, right? I mean, the boycott portion, I think, is a very, it was always a simpleton, sort of solution, if we want to call it that. I think this is much more. Listen, last week I was critical of the way Brett had handled this, right? I felt like Brett Yormark was very much like kind of just walking the political tightrope in the conference, like very much vanilla statements. We're meeting and we're evaluating and we'll have comment later on. I was wishing there was, there was more offense being played. And I feel like this is much more the tone that I was expecting. And I understand it takes time to wrangle all the people in the Big 12 and get everyone on the same page with this. Because to your point, like doing this basically says to Tech, hey, like we are here for it. We are going to fight you and we are going to do everything that we can do to discipline you essentially. And so, yeah, doing this, I think sets the correct tenor and tone of the conversation if you're the Big 12 and all of its presidents who want to fight Tech. And I also think that if you're Cody Campbell and you're all those guys that did this roundtable, you might want to get together again and have a conversation about just how hard you want to fight this. Because if they get that judgment, I don't know what the answer then would be. What are you going to appeal that, I guess, would be the next step? Like, I don't know where it goes from there.
Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be very interesting to see the timeline of this. I think it is going to be... It'll be interesting to see how quickly this gets in front of a judge. My guess is it'll be this week. Yeah. Would be my guess.
Well, they wouldn't be filing it if it was 6 months down the line. I mean, it's not going to be. I would agree with that. I think you don't file something like this unless you have a path forward to getting it heard ASAP. Basically,
if you get a declaratory judgment, I'd be surprised. I noticed that it's filed in Dallas and not in West Texas. I think that's significant. But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see who wins this fight. This is the beginning. It is not the end.
Mm-hmm.
This is the beginning. It is not the end. And when you are Cody Campbell and Texas Tech, at what point do you say this is enough is enough? At what point do you say enough is enough? We've tried, like, how much money are you going to dump down this hole? Right? This is, I mean, you're
potentially endless.
Quite literally.
It just depends.
Quite literally, you're just throwing your money into an incinerator.
Yeah.
In a fight that the odds are against them. Because note what this is not. This is not an action. This is not an action meant to create a settlement. Right? This is not a lawsuit. This is a complaint being filed in federal court asking for relief. They're not aiming for a settlement. They're aiming for a judgment, because I think what this tells you also is most people believe common sense will prevail at the judicial level, because it makes no common sense at all that you allowed Brendan Sorsby to have an injunction, to get injunctive relief. Mm-hmm. That made no sense at all. It was a shocking ruling. It makes complete and total sense for a judge to issue a declaratory judgment, allowing the Big 12 to not only take Sorsby out of play, but sanction the Big 12 or sanction Texas Tech. I think that makes complete sense. Now, do we wind up with an appeal of that declaratory judgment? Certainly. Sir, I would think. But again, this is where I ask, at what point does Cody Campbell say enough is enough? Billionaires don't become billionaires by being stupid people.
Wow.
And at some
their
point,
emotions are in play, and his are.
At some point, don't you have to take an off-ramp? And if you, in this case, Texas Tech loses and the Big 12 is given a declaratory judgment, that's as fine an off-ramp as you're going to get. To say we tried, we feel like we're at the end of our options. Brendan's our guy. He's going to be on campus. We're going to support him for, his time here as long as he would like that to be, but he can't play football for us.
Right.
I think that's legit. I also think if you fight this, and I believe this is the conversation that's happening behind the scenes. If you fight this, the penalty will be worse. You will be ineligible to play for a Big 12 championship. Because I think that's real penalty. We will give you, if you withdraw Brendan Sorsby, you'll go your way, we'll go our way. Good luck to you this season. But now that they had to file for a declaratory judgment, and in that declaratory filing, the request for the judgment in that filing, they're asking to be able to fully enforce their bylaws, you're fucked. Because they're coming. And I would hope, and I don't care who it is, Jeffrey Kessler or somebody else, I would hope that somebody would say, we're not going to win. The odds are not in our favor.
And if you do win, then what? that's my, okay, great. Yeah. Let's say you do win. Then what have you just done? Well, you've basically said it's okay for guys to gamble on their own sport and there's no integrity in the game. Is that what we're about? At the same time, in in Congress, you're pushing this bill that would kneecap this whole situation. So I don't know, man. It's weird. That's why I'm saying the commitment level here is weird. You're on one hand pushing a bill that knocks this down and kills all your effort here. But on the other hand, you're fighting this to the death with the Big 12. That's what I'm saying. Cody Campbell, with all due respect, is out of his depth here. You're not providing good leadership. If on one hand, in the big boy room, you're pushing this bill, but on the other hand, locally, you're fighting to go against the very same bill. It's just weird, man. I don't understand the strategy.
Ooh, this filing is very interesting. Let me get this screenshot for you. This filing is very interesting.
And I will say that I think that we don't often get conference versus a school in this way. Yes, there was a little bit of Big Ten versus Michigan, but I don't feel like the Big Ten really wanted to get after Michigan. The ACC Florida State's Clemson situation, I feel like was just those two being really pissed about the CFP and was never really a danger. This is different in the sense that I feel like this is a good measuring stick, because if they continue to fight this after this hearing, let's say they lose this hearing, you continue to fight this, that tells me that you're starting to get into territory where I'm going to ask, are you guys borderline delusional if you're going to keep fighting this? I don't understand the reward. I don't understand what you're trying to get done for Texas Tech. And yeah, it also matters what you're trying to get done for this conference, because this is a bad look for the conference.
And not that I'm trying to, be I told you so guy. They're asking for the right to ban Texas Tech from playing in the postseason. And you look at, it says, brings this action against Attorney General of the state of Texas, Warren Kenneth Paxton, Ken Paxton, in his official capacity, Texas Tech, blah, 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 the Big 12, and its member schools, including defendant Texas Tech, have long recognized and spoken about the dangers and unethical and illegal sports betting by student athletes. So too is Texas Attorney General. Calling him out by name. Texas Tech and the Texas Attorney General have now threatened the Big 12 with suit, given the prospect that the Big 12 will continue to express precisely these values. that one have understood all parties to this suit have shared. Recently, an investigation revealed that current Texas Tech student athlete placed numerous impermissible and illegal bets on various collegiate athletic competitions while on football teams of 2 prior universities, including 40 bets on his own team's games. In response to Texas Tech's intent to field that student athlete in the Big 12, this upcoming football season, several member institutions began raising questions about whether the conference could vote to potentially sanction Texas Tech. Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you now. This is a big deal. This is a moment in time. This is a moment in time. And you look at that first paragraph. In his official capacity, seeking declaratory and injunctive relief, the Big 12 is. Yeah, this is a big deal. And notice, I would also point out to you, so many people got this wrong. Notice that the Big 12 is a Delaware corporation. Go do some homework on what a Delaware corporation is. Because I'm telling you now, yes, I'm aware. I'm telling you now that this is where the rubber meets the road. And this is where because the other thing that I saw people saying is, oh, the conference is falling apart. Conference is not falling apart.
No, it couldn't be more united right now, man.
Yeah, conference is not falling apart, friends. The funny thing is, all of college football is united behind the Big 12. Nobody agrees with Texas Tech. That should tell you something. You have nowhere to go. You have nothing to threaten anybody with. All you have is your ego and your arrogance. If you're Cody Campbell, it's time to pull the parachute. It is time to take the off-ramp. Because my opinion is Texas Tech will lose. And a judge with any common sense, which in Dallas County, I would think, in Dallas District Court, I would think you're going to lose this case.
And I think it makes a lot of sense that the original judge just kicked the can down the road, right? Which isn't really something that I initially had considered that he might do. But I was pondering this because I knew we were going to talk about it today. Like, if you think about that judge, like, he's probably not going to be the one that wants to step in the way or wants to cause the issue. So he just kicked the can down the road, damn well knowing the Big 12 would get involved and would do what they do. And what I think is really funny is that Brandon, don't call me Brendan, has Jeffrey Kessler defending him. Did the boys in Lubbock really think that the Big 12 don't have suits as well? Like, did you really think the conference doesn't have the best of the best or doesn't have like equally capable legal teams and billable hours at play here? Like, that's and this is something you've talked about a lot, that Cody Campbell up into this point has really always been the guy in the room that has all the power. But that quotient is changing now. And I'll keep saying it. I just don't think that he's prepared for that. Mm-hmm. I don't think that he's prepared for, hey, like, you're not the all-knowing bro in the room. You're not the guy that just has all this power and everyone's just going to look to. No, in fact, what they just did is they put on a piece of paper that you guys have a guy on your team that made illegal bets multiple times and poses a massive threat to the integrity of the game and a ton of relationships in the Big 12, and they're not going to stand and allow that to happen. And boy, that's crazy.
They keep just reading the text of this filing. A preliminary injunction. What Texas Tech is asking for, blah blah blah, relief. Damn, where'd it go? Right here. A preliminary injunction and a permanent injunction barring the defendants from seeking to deter, coerce, prevent, or punish the Big 12 for exercising its rights under its bylaws to sanction Texas Tech TCU. Texas Tech University related to its handling of sports betting activities discussed in this complaint, including fielding a student athlete in Big 12 competition who has engaged in collegiate sports betting activity in perpetuity. So you're basically trying to handcuff Ken Paxton from being a jackwagon, which this will be very interesting. I'm telling you guys, this is a huge moment in time. It's a huge moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that Texas Tech has. Look, you always knew that this situation from the Big 12 side of thing was always going to get to a more serious level. They were always going to be, in a place where they were going to defend this and get after Texas Tech. You knew that, but I think a lot of people had questions about would they take this to court? Would they try to handle this just within conference meetings and just try to negotiate it privately? And to me, it's pretty clear. The Big 12 to me is setting a standard here of we're not going to put up with this. This is not a joking matter. This is not something that we're all just going to go, and get some beers and talk about. No, this is hey, we're not going to deal with this. We're taking you to court and we're going to strike this down. And if that happens, if they do get what they want here, I mean, that would be a pretty, again, people criticize Brett Yormark, but you guys, I think sometimes proverbial, you guys forget that this guy came from the pro ranks. This guy came from big business and he knows how to play these games. So I think, again, Cody, you made that joke about Texas packing a lunch, but I kind of feel like you're in that same position now.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. H-Town King 1. I worry Paxton might use his office to try and pressure other Texas schools to back Texas Tech. You can't. That's just, you're worrying about something that's not possible. He has no ability to do that. He has no lever to pull. He is one of the most unpopular figures in that state. He has no leverage to pull that. None whatsoever. And it is almost insignificant even if he did. I mean, the ethical breach there would be incredible. It's incredible that you are trying to force the Big 12 to ignore its bylaws that you helped write. That's essentially what you're doing, right? I think it is. That's highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely. I just don't see. I don't see any way that could happen. I don't. Listen, I think it's going to be this is going to get ugly. And the problem is guys like Cody Campbell do not often surrender or say uncle. And again, I'm just going to keep asking, how long does Cody Campbell fight?
Yeah, until the very end. I think until it becomes very clear that they're going to lose this and the rest of the league is going to look upon you in an extremely negative fashion. And because again, that's the other part of the conversation here, man. What are you doing to your long-term relationship with the conference? And because this is always going to get brought up. That's the part of it that's the behind the scenes, off the field, negotiation piece that I think people forget is that no matter what happens in this situation, win or lose, this will always be held against you moving forward. People will never forget that you tried to make it so a kid who gambled on his own team could play for you. You understand that, right? That's now your reputation. That's not what you're known for. So I don't know. I just don't feel like this was well thought out. I agree with you completely that there's this big ass pride piece and this emotion piece and this massive us against the world mindset happening here. But when you operate from that point, like they're again, unintended consequences. You don't know what this is going to cost you in 5 years. You don't know what this looks like, dude. Like that's what I caution Texas Tech to think about that, and to think about, even now, if tomorrow we turn on the show and I'm getting criticized for not white balancing my camera and all this other stuff, and Cody Campbell comes out and says, "Hey, we made a mistake here. We made a mistake, and we're gonna unwind this, or we're gonna set this straight." You still could improve things, but we'll never hear them say that.
He'll never say he made a mistake.
Yeah, and
his
that's
ego, his ego will not let him do that, in my opinion. Even though I think they made a horrendous mistake. There's no unwinding this watch. And again, I go back to what I said last week. Congratulations, you won and you lost. Congratulations. You won nothing with this injunction for Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah.
Now, and Cody Campbell and everybody at Tech can sit here and say, oh, well, Cody did this on his own as a private citizen, filed for his rights, and he won. You can't tell me that Brendan Sorsby hires Jeffrey Kessler, and his second chair, his second chair attorney is currently the Speaker of the House for the state of Texas. You can't tell me he hires them and does all of this without the consult of Texas Tech. So let me get this right. Brendan Sorsby did all of this on his own. All you did was live up to the terms of your NIL contract, which is what I think they would like us to believe. And support the kid who's 22 years old and not a kid. You've just supported the kid.
Right.
And everybody else is the one that's in the wrong. Even though multiple universities will now not play Texas Tech on any field, in any sport. And now the conference is likely going to exclude you from the college football playoff this coming year. But you're the aggrieved party. You're not. Brendan Sorsby, in my opinion, didn't do this on his own. Brendan Sorsby, in my opinion, absolutely had to have the consult of Cody Campbell in Texas Tech. Because there's no way that Cody Campbell and Texas Tech would just stand by and watch Brendan Sorsby do this. Because if Brendan Sorsby didn't have the consult and the permission, if you will, if Brendan Sorsby didn't go to Cody Campbell and kiss the ring, if you will, to go and sue the NCAA for an injunction, what if he won and Texas Tech was like, nah, we're not going to play you? So he just spent all that money on attorneys, not knowing if he'd be able to play. Come on.
Come on.
Come on. You know that's not the case.
You know it, and I know it.
Chewy says the UFC 250 was a farking joke and just plain weird. It was very weird. It's fine. Brandon Butler, the kid couldn't afford to pay back the kid. The Bearcats, how is he affording Kessler? Is this pro bono work? I want to see the names on the checks, don't we all? The Big 12 said, quote, hold my beer. Exactly. ACC, we are the lawsuit kings of college sports. Well, you used to be, right? Sean says he did it to bond with teammates. Such a BS answer.
I mean, honestly, that was, yeah.
Congratulations, but that's bullshit.
Yeah, Big 12 Media Days got very interesting. If you're Texas Tech, how do you show your face at Big 12 Media Days? You just do anyway? You just do. No, I don't think you do. Big Sac State James. Tech needs just needs to pull out instead of going balls deep in this situation. Ego is too big. I think Cody won't stop. Businessmen generally know when to cut their losses. If the yield on that rig ain't putting out, we got to move on. Again, I watch Landman. I know how these things work. Got to have a yield on that well. When does the Sorsby well run dry? Randy writing. If Tech keeps puffing that chest, they may just destroy themselves. They're trying. Yeah, hit the like button, please. Pretty please. Tech fans still don't know what's wrong with the situation with Sorsby. Jesus can't help you.
Nope.
Pray for that, man.
Thoughts and prayers, brother.
Pray for that, man. BYU is John Lovitz in The Wedding Singer right now. Quote, he's losing his mind and I'm reaping all the benefits. Boy, you ain't wrong about that. How did Texas Tech put themselves in this situation? I'll never understand it. Bread and circuses, my friends. I wonder if there are any other recent groups in the last 100 years that tried to emulate Rome. It's wild. It's wild. Big 12 letting their nuts hang on Cody Campbell and Tech. Putting in there, and they requested them not to play Sorsby, and Tech did not agree, airing out all the laundry. Correct. The rationale for this will never be understood.
Nope.
It'll never be understood, and I just don't know. I don't know how Tech extricates themselves from this mess now. Like, you went in and you created a problem that had already been fixed. And now you can't find a way to get out of it. And I just don't know. Like, the ego thing's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Will Cody Campbell, because ultimately my opinion is this is Cody's decision. Will Cody Campbell relent? I hope he does. I don't believe he's stupid.
Well, look, I think, again, I've been consistent on the show saying that this guy is an aspiring politician of sorts. Whether he ever holds office or not, I don't know. But that's, to me, that's what he's trying to do here. He's operating in that way. And I think the modern day politician who is in the wrong, knows he's in the wrong, but never wants to admit he's in the wrong, is going to privately admit he was wrong and publicly continue to criticize the decision. And if the decision comes down against Texas Tech and the Big 12 gets what they want here, I think you'll see Cody Campbell will continue to play the victim card, will continue to say that Tech is a victim and everyone's scared of him and nobody wants to play him, even though that's a complete farce. Nobody's scared of you. Everybody wants to play you, mainly because most people would beat you in the playoff, but that's a different day, different show. I just think that that's what you'll see. And it's really unfortunate because I think that there's an opportunity for Tech to take the higher ground, but they can't bring themselves to do that. And I do think it's great to see a conference step up and say, hey, we're not going to stand for this and we will fight you and we will die on the hill. And we do have the resources with the however many other members, to fight you because you're one guy with $1 billion. We've got 12 people with $1 billion. It's
correct.
A fair fight.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you fix it. I do. Again, the most important thing here is actually for Sorsby because he's got at best 7 days if the deadline is June 22nd and 15 days if it's June 30th to file a supplemental draft. Yeah, he's at a tipping point. I think the supplemental draft is dead. I don't think there's any way for him to. I just don't think there's any way for him to do that. Like, how do you, if you're an NFL team, how do you draft him in the supplemental draft? I just don't think it's possible. I don't know the rationale behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Ross Dellinger, in a quote from the filing, in an industry that's rarely agrees on anything, there is finally an issue that everyone seems to agree on. Universities should not field players who have bet on their own team's games in college athletics. Well, other than Texas Tech and the Attorney General, because they don't agree on that. They don't agree on that at all. So, Delaric, hello. He gambled to be close to his team. That implies his teammates were gambling with him, according to him. Maybe.
I don't break the rules.
Hi, my name is Brandon. I'm new here. Want to grab lunch and maybe put a bet on Indiana for me?
Hi, Brandon.
It's wild. It's wild. He needs to go to rehab and also start going to organization that prepares players for the draft. He needs to skip the supplemental draft. I think that's very true. Just get ready for the regular draft.
Listen, that whole side of it though is really tough for Tech too, because they're seemingly so committed to him playing football. They're saying, hey, like we want to help this kid and we want to, put him through rehab and put the monitoring stuff on his phone and the apps and all that. But all of that because we're so committed to having him play football. It's just a weird look, man.
It's a very weird look. There's nothing normal about it at all. There is nothing normal about it at all. It's remarkable to me that here we are, and this is what the Big 12's had to resort to. That's the tough part for me. This is the Big 12 has put themselves in a position to be on the right side of this. And you have one university pretty much in the entire country that's like, no, we're going to play him. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy to me. All right, we'll keep you up to date as new details come out, but the Big 12 has filed a complaint in Dallas federal court against Texas Tech and the Attorney General of Texas, who you remember threatened Texas Tech last week, asking for a declaratory judgment that would allow the Big 12 to enforce sanctions and enforce its bylaws and levy sanctions against Texas Tech, which include keeping Texas Tech out of the Big 12 championship game this year, which, of course, means that they're not going to get an automatic qualifier. Would the NCAA put... That's very interesting. What will the NCAA's reaction to this suit be, I wonder?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the judgment, or what
they're going to put some weight behind the Big 12, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I think they'll put weight behind the Big 12, but I think that the NCAA, look, the NCAA has to find its place in the room here. I mean, you continue to just be a punching bag, and you have no way to defend yourself. And I think at some point the NCAA is going to have to come out and plainly say that, if we're not permitted to enforce the rules and regulations of college athletics, what really are we even doing here? And what's rich about it is that the NCAA is all these schools. All these schools agreed to bylaws and rules and things like that. So it's just a really precarious situation. And again, this entire thing is a house of cards. It's all built on one man's pride and unwillingness to just do the right thing, the morally correct and right thing, not only by the player, but just for the situation. And that's why I say, the people who want to fight you about morals and ethics and tell you that Tech is doing the morally and ethically right thing are living in another delusion. Because there's no way to factually say that.
Yeah. Boy, how about this story? A body was found in the trunk of a car outside of the Iran World Cup Training Center in Tijuana, Mexico.
Not surprised.
The body was wrapped in a plastic bag and showed signs of significant violence. Dude, what is going on in the world today?
Well,
what on earth?
Again, Mexico. Why are you ever going to Mexico?
What are we doing? I am amazed by it. Maybe I shouldn't be amazed by it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be amazed by it. I think that's Mexico.
Maybe I shouldn't be amazed by it at all. But I am. So a body has been found in a trunk of a car at the Iranian Soccer Training Center headquarters in Tijuana. What a place to drop a body, right? That's incredible. That is wild to me. All right, let's finish up on UFC 250. Do you guys believe that, Jake, do you believe that Eric Trump DM'd Cormier trying to find out inside information on injured fighters so he could bet?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him at all. I mean, I again, without getting too political or getting way too deep into it, I mean, that would be right up the alley for these guys. So I don't put it past him at all. The natural defense of, hey, it was AI. What else is he going to say? Just that he didn't do it? Nobody's going to believe you. So, I mean, okay, great. That was your defense. But ultimately, I just think that the administration, anybody involved in it, you can factually say that it's one of the most corrupt administrations we've ever had, if not the most corrupt. So I wouldn't put this past them. Absolutely not.
Well, the whole show was terrible. I mean, the whole event was, again, that you have our military fighting men and women standing on steps saluting fighters. And to make it so that they had to salute the fighters, you had a Medal of Honor recipient escorting the fighters down the stairs because the military has to salute. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need an honor guard in a UFC event? Right? And then this whole thing with Eric Trump allegedly trying to get inside information and then saying that it was a deep fake AI. Well, I mean, there's one way to get to the bottom of that. Doesn't Twitter just come out and say, hey, this was a legitimate DM? No, they won't do that because it's Elon. It's crazy to me.
That's what I'm saying. How am I supposed to sit here and believe your sob story that it was AI? Well, I don't. I don't believe it was AI.
I don't believe it.
I believe that you wanted inside information and try to make a buck. And honestly, I just feel like this was a weird event. Like, I understand the premise and the idea of like, hey, celebrating our country and UFC at the White House and Dana White and Donnie and their best friends. And okay, on some level, I understand billionaires playing billionaire games. Okay, great. However, I think it's weird you did it on June 14th. I think it's weird that it's a celebrating our country and it's not on July 4th. What are we doing?
I don't think it's weird they did it on June 14th. It's the president's birthday. That was the whole reason for doing it on that date.
Well, then I think that's as dumb as the event itself. I think the event was marketed as UFC 250 celebrating 250 years of America. Not UFC 250 celebrating, Donald Trump's birthday. Like, it's weird.
Well, I also think it's interesting. I don't know how many people saw this, but Dana White basically said last night they'll never do it again. That they hemorrhaged money and cost on this event, and they will never do it again. It's just.
And for what? See, and that's the thing. You have a tried and true formula here, Dana. You have a tried and true formula. And if Dana White, not that he ever will, but if Dana feels some type of strategic victory and keeping Trump on his side on some level, not like aggravating that relationship or just trying to stay in good graces, I would even understand that. I could even understand that. But I didn't watch it, didn't watch a second of it, not interested in it. In my personal opinion, it's disrespectful to the institution of the White House to be doing stuff on the lawn, but that's just me. And I look forward to a time when I don't have to talk about this, or this isn't a story.
The politics of it are obvious, right? The politics of it are obvious. I think it just, the whole thing sucked. I don't understand what the point of it was. Okay, I just don't understand the point of it. And allegedly trying now Trump wants to buy the set so that he can stage more fights on taxpayer dollars. And why? Why are we like, is it so important to have a UFC match on the South Lawn? Like, what sense does that make?
Yeah, it's very odd.
It's very odd. The whole thing just, I don't understand what our focus is. That's the thing in sports now that I think we've lost the reason for sport. Because there's no way to say that any, like the Trump family are the only ones that benefited from this fight. Dana White openly admitting that this is the most cost-efficient event that he's ever put on, next to, and they lost more money on this fight, on this event, than they lost on the event they did at the Sphere, which they lost an incredible amount of money at the Sphere. To lose more money on this event than you did at the Sphere says something. And that you'll never do it again. What was the point of it?
No idea.
That's the part that I don't understand. And then the fact that I do believe that they were real DMs. I do believe that this was real. Cormier has deleted the tweet now. And I mean, I understand. But you just can't tell me that.
You just can't put it past any of these dudes, man. It's the problem is it makes sense. The allegation fits the character here. That's the problem.
Yeah. I don't but asking him if any of the, like Eric Trump and these alleged DMs said, quote, are any of the fighters injured that you know of? Cormier said, I'm not quite sure what you're asking me this, but I think they're all in good shape. Allegedly, Eric Trump replied, I'll just cut to the chase. Are any of the fights tomorrow rigged? I've been eyeing a particular fight, and I think an upset would be too unrealistic. Cormier allegedly said, none of our fights are rigged, and honestly, I'm appalled that you would even ask me something like that. Mind you, these were happening at midnight, 12 a.m., 1 a.m., like in the middle of the night. And Cormier says, and you can see what he says in the tweet here. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The problem is, it's believable. Yeah, bread and circus.
Agreed.
Yeah, it is what it is. They already crossed the Rubicon. Yeah.
How many days in a row are we going to get the deal is close? How many days in a row are we going to get UFC 250 was amazing? How many days in a row are we going to get that, gas prices will go down, right? Like it's the same hamster wheel of issues that are unsolved because he's not solving anything. And I agree with Brandon. Couldn't agree more, dude. Bread and circus, right? Like, again, save the Bulls, right? I'm not interested in your show. Save the Bulls. Like, I'm not interested.
Yeah. And then there's the New York Knicks who threw bread to the peasants.
In what was a cleansing moment for sports in this country.
Yes. I think this was a huge moment for the NBA. Honest to goodness. Honest to goodness. Huge moment for the NBA. But I think an incredibly damaging moment for Victor Wembanyama, who, in my opinion, is a complete fraud. The guy is an absolute. It just, you look at this compilation of plays. I don't know how you look at any of these and think that Victor Wembanyama is a legitimately good NBA player. And the hard part is he's got 9 flagrant fouls. If any of these had been called, a flagrant foul, and all of them were flagrant fouls. If just one of them had been properly called, he would have been suspended for a game, which is why they did not call them flagrant fouls. Look at the OG play. How is that like? What do we do? Look at him land in Brunson's landing area. No call. That is a textbook flagrant foul in the NBA for landing in his area, for being in his landing area, rather. I mean, it's just incredible to me what a scumbag Victor Wembanyama turns out to be.
Yeah,
and then
the maturation of it too, though, like how quickly this has happened. Because early in the playoffs, that elbow to, I think that was Naz Reid, everyone was like, oh, Wemby's a tough guy. He's going to kick your ass. He's the best thing ever. And now that we're at the back of it, it's like, no, actually, this guy's kind of a dirty player, and we're not big Wemby fans anymore. Which is kind of incredible how quickly that turned.
I think Victor Wembanyama is going to have a very difficult time recovering from this. A very difficult time. And then you lose. You walk off the court and you don't shake hands. He did not congratulate the Knicks. And then you say this in your press conference.
I learned one of many things I learned is the margin of error is very, very thin. Our domination stints are absolute. We absolutely dominated for most of the series. But our errors, our mistakes, are punished so hard that we can't have ups and downs like this so much. The ups are okay, the downs, is the reason we lost.
I don't disagree that for long stretches they were dominant. But what do you mean punished? You disappeared in the fourth quarter, bud. You were a 0 in the fourth quarter. He was, for the series, a net negative in the fourth quarter. He was not good at the free throw line in the clutch. He got out rebounded by small guards from the Knicks. And he could not score in the fourth quarter. And then this is how you treat the media?
Appreciate y'all. See y'all. Never.
See y'all never. This is a guy who's faced no adversity in his life. This is a guy who's always been the best at his position, has never run into players better than him, and crumbled in the moment. Victor Wembanyama's a fraud. Victor is exactly what we thought he would be. Not difficult to guard in clutch moments. And you always see this happen in the NBA. Are you a challenge to guard in clutch moments? In big moments, in important moments? Do I need to worry about you? Not, you don't. You don't have to worry about Victor Wembanyama. That you can't handle Jalen Brunson one-on-one. Okay. That you can't handle Karl Anthony Towns, who was all but left for dead at times the last 3 years? And you're supposed to be a generational, never before seen, won't be seen again talent? And you can't get an offensive rebound? You can't get a defensive rebound? You're the captain of a team that can't mentally think their way through the final 2-minute stretches? Because I don't even have a problem with the argument that you were better than the Knicks for most of this series, because you were.
Mm-hmm.
That you held, what was it? They held the lead 72% of the time and lost the series. They won one game and got a ton of help from the officials. Victor Wembanyama is out here committing flagrant foul after flagrant foul, and they're not calling it. Calling the exact same fouls against the Knicks, but not calling them against Wembanyama. And you still, even with all of these dirty plays, you still couldn't beat the Knicks. I don't understand it. I want to understand it, but you're diving at people's legs. You tried to hurt OG Anunoby and missed. You were ragdolling Jalen Brunson. It's wild to me what a scumbag Victor Wembanyama turned out to be.
And I think that the post-game presser attitude out of him shows you why he struggled so much at the end of games. Because I couldn't agree more that, him saying, oh, well, we dominated and, we were the better team essentially. And it's such a weak take. What you should be saying is we failed. We didn't get the job done. We showed that we can beat this team for 3 quarters, and then we can't beat them in the quarter that matters the most. You were up 29 freaking points at one point, bro. 29 points, and you lost that game. How does that happen, dude? How does that happen, man?
You don't have the mental ability to compete. That's what should scare people about Victor Wembanyama. All the people that want to fillet Victor Wembanyama as the freak, the alien, you can't fix stupid. That's the problem. He's not a smart basketball player. He's not in control of his emotions. What happened to the fucking monks? Where was your Zen ability, bud? Oh, it doesn't exist in clutch time. That's the biggest issue. Victor Wembanyama couldn't mentally compete. Jalen Brunson beat you. Plain and simple. Jalen Brunson did not shoot well in this series until it mattered most. Made their free throws. OG Anunoby. What did I say about OG Anunoby? X factor in this series. Turned out to be just that. Look at Josh Hart. Look at guys like Alvarado. Look at the play and the impact that those players had on the team. They all far more impacted the outcome of the series than Victor Wembanyama did. That's what should be so troubling.
Yes.
Victor Wembanyama just cannot compete mentally.
Yeah, and I thought the handshake thing, the not shaking people's hands thing was just another example of that. And I feel like just through the whole thing, not shaking people's hands, trying to hurt people, just being immature about it. And I agree with people saying, hey, he's only 22. I agree. He's ahead of schedule. He's already in the NBA Finals. That's great for his career arc. But again, with great opportunity comes great responsibility, man. And he doesn't know how to handle the moment. And I think that the Spurs head coach needs to grow up a little bit. I think their roster continue to grow up a little bit. But I'm done with the hey, this guy is LeBron level talent, because he's not even close to that. And I'm not a LeBron guy. I'm a Kobe guy, Michael guy, but there's no denying the fact that LeBron James was and is a generational basketball
He's not Jalen Brunson level talent.
Yeah, like he's not even close, dude. I like you can't build the brick wall he built in the fourth quarter of all these games and call yourself some amazing player, dude.
But it's not even that he bricked everything. You know what the biggest issue is? He just didn't show up. Yeah. He didn't play defense, didn't block shots, didn't rebound. Like you just didn't show up. You literally ran from the top of the key to the top of the key to the top of the key. And then when you were engaged defensively, they pick and rolled you into a matchup with Brunson, who absolutely owned you. And until you adjust your mindset, you're never going to win.
Yeah.
And I would also point out the De'Aaron Fox situation.
Dude, rough for him, man.
Oh, terrible. Did not defend. Could not operate mentally. Turn the ball over. The fact that he doesn't dribble out the clock with 10 seconds left in what was that, game 4 or whatever that was, game 3?
Mentally unprepared, dude. Mentally unprepared.
You're up 29 points and you lost. And then you had the chance to win and you still lost.
You still were not prepared, man.
It's wild to me. It's wild. Brandon Butler, does the Knicks winning close the portal to hell the Cubs opened in 2016? That's the only negative about this win is that James Dolan has a championship.
Yeah.
But maybe, right? Brandon also says, I need Victor to just embrace that he's the new Bill Laimbeer. Does he fully turn heel now and become Ron Artest? Does he become Dennis Rodman? Does he become technical foul guy?
No, he's too skilled for that. I think what you will see is you will at some point next season, in preseason availability or when he's got a chance to cool down a little bit from losing, he will come out and say that he should have shook their hand, or he will come out and say that he should have handled it differently. And you will see that I do think he will grow from this. I think that the one positive with Victor is that when you look at his development, he is able to develop. The problem is that now, to your point, he's never been pushed this way. He's never not been the best player on the floor. And now he's been shown what that's like with the advent of Brunson and some of these other guys. So he's now got to mentally develop and learn how to win games by being the number one on his team and manipulating the defense.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed in him. I really am.
But I'm more disappointed that BDM hasn't sent any videos because, I just thought that we would get a performance today.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not a word from Big Daddy Magic. Yeah, it's crazy. Because I don't even disagree that I watched every minute of these games, much to my wife's chagrin, who hates the NBA. But I just felt like the Spurs won most of the. I mean, Harper was fantastic. The Spurs won 90% of the series. The problem is they lost the 10% that mattered most.
Yep.
You guys are just jealous because his arms are longer than your whole body. That could be.
Well,
listen, look. I am 4 inches of power. I don't even argue
Can you
that.
measure it?
I don't even argue that. Is what it is, right? This is what we need. We need villains in the NBA. We need to hate watch now. We have OKC to hate watch. Totally agree. Yes.
Oh, no. Now we have Wemby to hate watch. I don't even hate
both
OKC
of them
because they lost.
Oh, I hate OKC with every fiber of my rectum. BDM is having a, quote, cleansing moment at Taco Bell today. No video update from him is beyond disappointing.
Venom and vitriol.
Yeah, where's Buddy at? Maybe do we try to call him?
Call him. Yeah, bring him. Let's see if he'll answer. I mean, this could be all-time content if he answers.
Maybe we're just doing a wellness check on Buddy. Right? Yeah, maybe we're just doing a wellness check on Buddy.
This is your beloved.
I don't know,
Big Daddy Magic.
No. Maybe this way. I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's see. It's trying to call him, but he hasn't answered yet. We'll have to see. Does he
Big
answer?
Daddy Magic, the heavyset one with the big gun with the sweet tongue.
Your buddy's not going to answer. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, sad day, dude. Really sad day.
I get it.
And it is ringing. It's just not. He's not. No. He didn't answer.
Yeah, really disappointing, dude.
It is very
really
disappointing.
Really disappointing.
Very disappointing.
Hope you enjoyed your chalupa, brother.
That Buddy didn't answer.
Yeah, really tough.
You know. It's ringing. It's ringing. It's just not answering. Unfortunately. We'll have to see.
Damn.
See my big old penguin nose there. Yeah, it's ringing. He's just not answering the phone.
That sucks, man.
He probably hasn't recovered. He probably has not recovered.
Hey, player.
Which is unfortunate because, man, we all have
ovaries.
We all have ovaries. Right? And I tried BDM to get you on the show. Talk about your beloved Victor.
Yeah. but that's not working out today, apparently.
He doesn't want to talk about Victor.
No.
Victor's the way.
No, look at the
is-
run he's been on, too. Josh Allen, Victor now. Like, how many times, dude?
How many? Maybe he's the new Oak State James cursing guys.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
You know, Wemby, because the Jazz didn't get the number 1 pick. Curse that, too. Wemby is 22 and still getting better. Fast forward 10 years, Wemby has 1 or 2 titles. Is he getting better mentally?
Yeah, but wasn't the expectation that he was going to dominate the league for like 20 years? Wasn't the expectation that he was going to have like just ring after ring?
Yeah.
Now we're changing.
Best player in the history of the NBA, man.
Yeah, whatever.
Best player ever. That's what the argument was.
Yeah.
That he was the best player that we have ever seen in any form or function. And that's just not the case. Noel Ramirez, I thought everyone was bitching how the NBA is soft and how all the players are friends. I don't think this is being tough. What Victor Wembanyama did in this run was dirty. It wasn't tough. There's a big difference. There is a big, big difference. That Fox contract that kicks in next year is going to be an anchor around the Spurs' necks for the next 4 years. He's getting paid. Shouty, hello. Good to see you. What is it with French players getting owned by guards asking for Gobert? Seriously.
It's facts,
Tom
dude.
Dean. I don't understand why a 7'4" player doesn't make a living with within 10 feet of the rim. He should own that territory. He's an okay 3-point shooter, but not that good because he can't physically compete down there.
Mm-hmm.
The guy got boxed out repeatedly. Right? Wasn't it Mitchell Robinson with that big rebound?
Yes.
Just pushed him out of the way. It's rough, dude. What is the definition of doing a wellness check on BDM? I mean, like, is he ever actually truly well?
A fair question, dude. A very fair question.
That is a fair question. I feel bad for the guy. Like, he talks so much shit.
Yeah.
And then Notre Dame's going to beat the hell out of BYU.
Where is he going to go? I mean, what is he? I mean, he's literally left with nothing.
That week, that BYU week on this show is going to be. Can you imagine that week where it's Notre
Dame, our mother.
Dude.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. There's no question about it.
Dude. That is the stuff of legends.
Yes.
It's Valhalla.
Yeah.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
You know, I'll see you in Valhalla. Shut up. What a stupid thing to say. He's a Christian. You won't see him in Valhalla.
Hey, Cash, can I get a new video of you with the U.S. men's national team? What do you think?
God, it's just ridiculous. The Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, everybody. Jake made it through a show.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I showed up. I did what I could. I'm really just great.
Everybody applaud Jake. Hit the like button on the way out the door. We really appreciate the support on the show. And if the worst happens, get to the best at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business where you get clear, risk-free advice 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.